The plot seems to thicken day by day, moment by moment, month by month. When we wake up, as we begin our day, we don't know what type of news we gonna be informed of, or what interviews is gonna be talked about. But apparently, Herb Gotti's brother, Chris Gotti, decided to tell his point of view, give his side. Him being in the middle of Ashanti's whatever that was, work relationship.
See, I'm always in the middle. Irv hate when I take her position, and you know what I'm saying? But I never took Irv's position with her.
Right.
But I'm doing it because he ain't here now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let no one talk about my brother. You're going to have a problem.
Right.
Simple and plain. In that, especially someone who he made that career. Like, I was there. Like, he made you sing records the way you sang them. Because you would have never sang it that way if it was up to you.
Personal relationship. Because this man, he's just spilling all types of business. If his brother ain't here, I guess he gonna tell whatever he wants to tell. Whatever he wants to tell. Saying he was in the middle of the relationship. Okay, he's saying he was in the middle of the relationship. He's the one going back and forth. She said this. He said that. Now look, if all that's going on, if we want to label it a relationship, or if y'all want to label it a relationship, if he want to label it as look, I don't know. I don't know. We just here leaving comments, giving an opinion. Because again, when something is out there, this is my thing though. Okay, Irv is gone. We are aware that Irv is gone. When Ashanti, I feel like, I already spoke on this as well, but when she gave her condolence to the family, she made it known. When it was good, they made good music together. But when it was bad, it was bad. Now, the brother is going into detail as far as he feels that Ashanti, it's almost as if, what are you saying? What does Ashanti owe the record label? What does she owe? What does she owe Irv? What does she owe you? What does she owe? This woman, this young lady at the time, young.
Something with y'all chemistry worked out. Respect it. That's all. I'm not saying you have to talk, respect the magic that was made. That's all I said. See, I'm always in the middle. Irv hate when I take her position, and you know what I'm saying? But I never took Irv's position with her.
Right.
I'm not going to let no one talk about my brother. You're going to have a problem.
Right.
Simple and plain. In that, especially someone who he made that career. Like, I was there. Like, he made you sing records the way you sang them. Because you would have never sang it that way if it was up to you.
This woman, this young lady at the time, young, she was signed to a record label. Signed, okay, there are obligations, there are contracts. T's to be crossed, I's to be dotted. But sometimes I think in life, even when people do go their separate ways, it doesn't always have to be on bad terms, but people do grow. People's minds change. You're not the same 18-year-old when you become 28. You're not the same 28-year-old when you become 38, from 38 to 48. The mind does change. At least it's supposed to grow. At least it's supposed to expand. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because you're getting older, not everybody is filled with wisdom. Some people do have to go back and repeat and like to be in drama and cause a disturbance. But it does appear to me that ever since Nelly and Ashanti decided to tie the knot, to be one under God. But see, that's when a lot of times people really want to get busy, because people really don't like unity. People would rather see sometimes people's lives in discord, like they can't figure it out, like they keep repeating the same accidents, they keep repeating the same mistakes. What was the lesson learned? if you continue to do a repeat. Sometimes it's a good lesson, sometimes it's not the best lesson, but it was a lesson that was learned that can be taken from that, from life growth experiences. But to continue to bring up Ashanti's name, even when his brother has, Irv Gotti has transitioned, wanting to keep it going, wanting to now go on these interviews. Obviously, I think he already had something there concerning Ashanti. What that there could possibly be. Maybe because Ashanti was not giving his brother the time of day. Maybe because he did help start the record label with his brother. Maybe because Irv has mentioned whatever, how he has felt so many times that it became so deeply embedded in his brother that now he feels like he has to carry it out. And it seems like sometimes when women, at that time were being signed, all this independent and, empowerment, or, how many social media followers or being discovered on YouTube or, on social media platforms didn't necessarily exist at that time. So people become overly too involved. But they say, too, at that time when Brandy was coming along, matter of fact, Monica. If you look at Monica's early on videos, Monica got a tattoo that she talked about later on her arm. Monica started wearing bands around her arm to cover up the tattoo because it had to be a certain image. Brandy, do you remember Brandy? She was with child, and at that time it was like, oh, you get pregnant early on, oh my goodness, your career's over. Young ladies, women, a lot of pressure to do it, to do things a certain way, be under pressure. Well, obviously, even if Ashanti was under pressure, even when whatever did happen with the label and it caused it to be dismangled due to whatever reasons, they felt so upset that Ashanti chose to separate from the label. Well, Ashanti's mom, Ben was her manager, is her manager still today, last I knew. Don't you think her family had some input on what was the best decision for Ashanti to do? Just like other people who comes along in their own family and decide what is the best situation that we can put our family in. What they was thinking about themselves, like, what, Ashanti was supposed to take an L too? I mean, was money that serious that because he shelved Ashanti for those years. It's like, oh, I'm going to put you in timeout. Playtime is over since I can't have my way. And then he's going to go on this tirade, just discuss what was Ashanti really going to say. For one, it's a man. This soft life is being encouraged, has been encouraged. A woman should stay in her place. A woman should not speak unless she's spoken to. A woman should not talk out of terms. Well, what about a man? Who is there speaking to these young men coming up? Who is there speaking to these men of today that were once boys that are now men? Who is saying something? Because some of this stuff is just absolutely chaotic. But I understand. Not every time, because the situation is chaotic, that people should have to get themselves involved in. Sometimes it can get worse. Ashanti hasn't been one to say really much of anything. And sometimes that's the road. That's the decision. Because it's not about her. At this point, you got a child involved now. She got this baby to care for. I really doubt that her mind is focused on, okay, let me do a redo over. Let me do a do over. Let me get this right so the family can live in peace now. Please. If Ashanti did do some type of do-over or came back in another lifetime, it still would have been right. Because you know why? People always gonna still find fault in you. People is still always gonna find a problem. Nothing in life is promising. Nothing in life is forever. Nothing in life is like, okay, I did it that way. Now, are you happy with me? Are you pleased with me? Can I please wear my crown now? Can you please tell me here on earth that this has been a job well done? See, sometimes people's minds get so off that they are convinced that the world owes them something. That's why some people's minds are a little weaker than others. Some people's minds are a little stronger in areas. Some people's minds need to be spoken to. Like, hey, there is life. Like, we can overcome this. We can get through this. This is not the end all. There are other things to be concerned about. People are dealing with diagnosis. People are getting news of possibly just being diagnosed with, I don't know, a cholesterol issue, diabetes, heart disease, mental health issues. How to deal with that? Are you seeing a doctor? Are you doing the readings? The read up on what the diagnosis is, how to communicate effectively with your doctor to understand what is best. I know when I went to my last physical, my doctor told me, he said, he was really excited. He was like, I just got back from a conference. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. But he said, I can throw this medication, that medication at different patients. He said, but you know what was spoken on overall? I said, oh, Lord, what? What was spoken on? So he said, exercise. He was talking about the importance of exercise and getting started now, today. Don't wait. Don't wait until, you hit with some type of devastating news. Don't wait. Be active now. Be active now positively in the mind, mentally, physically. Do whatever it takes. He came back so alive and like that joy just jumped off on me. And I'm like, oh, okay. It like gave me a flash of, okay, what it is I need to do. So those who are in the limelight constantly, their lives being turned upside down, but yet everyday people, yeah, we dealing with our own stuff to have under control, but to just be the object of somebody constantly coming at you with all they got. Like you owe them something. But the debt's already been paid. So it's like people can live in a world and being stuck, being tied up, tangled up, being dishonorable, being disloyal, being angry, being upset, and then don't know how to get themselves back on the right track because it's something that they still carrying from 20, 30 years ago. And think life is going to treat them like one day, okay, if that one situation is corrected, if Ashanti comes back and asks for forgiveness, and maybe she has, but who says she had to? Maybe she hasn't, but who says she didn't have to? But this is the way real life actually does work with some people in their minds. Of course, I don't know what happened behind closed doors. I don't know, but the way this woman carries herself and we don't see her going on publications, I think I last just saw a video of her and Nelly enjoying each other, laughing it up. And again, people couldn't handle that either. So it's like you can either love them, like them, not pay them no attention. Because, no, the world does not evolve around Ashanti and Nelly, but it happens to be news. And it is crazy, I think, that she winds up constantly in some form of an attack. But again, blessings to that union. And just prayers for everybody whose mind is under attack, because this world is not easy. Now you got people worrying about Social Security, people get worried about their health, if they can put gas in their car, if they can make it to work, if they gonna have a job, if they can afford food to put on the table. Maybe they once could. Things is looking questionable. When people was concerned about, can I get a haircut this week? Can I get my hair done, my nails done? No. Can I pay to keep a roof over my head? Do I have to give in to situations that I don't want to be a part of? Not everybody wants to always go back and live with family and more family and more family. Especially when you got your family that you trying to take care of. Not every, but there comes a time, yes, when we do need family, we have to depend on each other. So yeah, it's a lot going on out here that we got to keep our own selves in prayer.